where we think sort of that next BlackBerry moment is, or that next app moment, that next internet moment. And so we generally at Sherpa try to be on the leading edge, not the bleeding edge, but I am going to talk about the bleeding edge today. So what I've done, I hope that you can kind of walk away knowing that the biggest companies in the world are all in on this. This is not going to go away. They're going to make it happen. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the difference between augmented reality and virtual reality, because there is a difference. I'm going to talk about some real-world examples. People are doing it today, and with some degree of success. I'm going to talk about how you might actually be able to apply that to marketing in a right now and today context. And then we're going to try and do a live demo. Our live demo got a little hooped by the Wi-Fi security here at the Winter Club, so we're going to have to pivot and try something different. So we'll, but those VR goggles that are on everybody's table are for you, free to take home with you and enjoy at tonight and moving forward. So the biggest companies are all in. So who's in? Facebook is Oculus. Apple just last week had their big event, so they released the iPhone X and the iPhone 8s, and they also announced the AR kit. So they are, in a very, very big way, going to be supporting this. And then Microsoft, with the HoloLens, is also progressing really quickly in this. The one thing that I could say is if you kind of move from the left to the right of the screen, that Oculus will probably be a little bit more gaming focused. Apple will be a little bit more consumer focused, and Microsoft, of course, will be a little bit more business focused. So I would like to say that augmented and virtual reality are going to be our reality. And there's Tim Cook last week on augmented reality. It will be huge. And it will be huge because they won't make it be huge. And all the iSheep that are here will be walking around with their iPhones, looking through it. So augmented reality. So that's a technology that superimposes basically computer graphics over the real world. So literally you're holding your device in front of your face and it's superimposing a digital image on this. And this has really, really cool applications. So think about going to a ski hill or going to a big concert event like I don't know, I went to Guns N' Roses and Megan and I got separated and I can't find her. But there could be an augmented reality app that we each have that puts like a lovely pink arrow off in the distance over Meg's head that I can start to follow and find her eventually. So there's going to be very real applications for this. So this is last summer's biggest deal. Was you got a bunch of kids up off the couch, walking all over Winnipeg, all over the world, and there it was Pokemon Go. It was, I would say, the first big augmented reality hit, smash game, whatever. And this will be a little bit off color, but the two things that tend to lead technology are games and porn. So not only is it just like for gaming, but it's also wearable. So most of anyone who knows me would know that I'm a pretty avid skier. So you can also wear it to augment your experience. So this is a pair of ski goggles that has a little heads-up display inside of it that I can see how long have I skied, how much vertical have I skied, what's the pitch, what time of day it is. So there's different ways of sort of augmenting that experience and enhancing your experience. So I'm going to try and do this, but Winnipeg is actually doing this as well. So this is a type of augmented reality. So I'm going to try and make this work. So I'm going to tab out. So that right here is a virtual tour of an apartment here in Winnipeg that I can...
I can't see it.
Oh, didn't work. Okay, let's see here. Just bear with me. There we go, this way. Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go. Okay, now I've got to make sure my cursor's in the right screen. So I can literally look around this apartment. Wow, this is really hard to do. So much easier with the mouse. There you go. So I can find these little hot spots, and I can walk through the apartment and take myself on a self-guided tour and see if this is a place that I might actually like to rent. And so this content is being generated right here in Winnipeg today by a company called Grid. So this is pretty cool. It's here, it's now. This is not, you know, sometime off in the future. This is a way for you to enhance the quality of your life by not having to go to a bunch of dumpy apartments. You can actually pre-qualify a place and say, hey, that's actually some place that is worth me going and checking out. See if I can tab back here. There we go. So thinking about it in an Apple context, now I'm in Phoenix and I'm at like one of those shopping plazas. Now I can hold up my phone and look over and it'll say, well, here's all the different stores that are in your area and the ratings. So this could be like a future Yelp app. You're walking down somewhere in New York City and you don't know if that restaurant's worth going into. You can now kind of flip up your phone, look at it, and go, okay, that looked kind of cool on the outside, but it's got like, you know, rotten tomatoes all over it. So it's another sort of enhancement. Games, so like I said, gaming is usually one of the first things to pick up on any really cool new tech. So this Recoil game is really cool. You set up a Wi-Fi hub that has a 500-foot range. You get these cool little laser guns and you pop your smartphone inside of it, and now you can have this really cool sort of laser tag game just with these guns. So that's a way to augment your reality. So VR. So the difference between AR and VR is AR is the real world, sort of superimposed with digital images. Virtual reality is more like the whole fake world thing. So it's like a 3D rendered, a generated environment. So think of it like the movie Avatar. You would be able to sort of transport yourself into that experience. So how do I know this is going to be a big deal and is going to be something? Because the US military is spending billions of dollars making it be a big deal. So think about this in military context. Now they can do virtual training without anybody, no live fire, nobody getting hurt, but they can set up an environment. It could be an urban thing, it could be a desert thing, it could be a jungle thing where they can be in those environments and practice in a very safe way without anybody getting hurt and you know, without having to go to a lot of travel expense and some of those things. So I always say, like, the best tech, the military has it, and by the time we've got it, it's like old news, or Formula One. So here's a flight trainer with the VR goggles that Samsung has made. You know, say you live in Ethelbert, Manitoba, and there's no Bentley dealership that you can go to, but you really want a Bentley. So you can literally go and download the app, put on your goggles, and now you can go and have that virtual Bentley dealership experience that is just not, you know, something this convenient for you today when you have the urge. You had it, you know, you've made up like a bandit on your canola, and you think, oh, it's time to go and buy that Bentley that you've always wanted. So, you know, you literally will be able to go into the dealership, and notionally sit in the car and look around. And like, again, this is here today. This is not something tomorrow. This is, you know, we're doing it. Here's another good one. Like, so, okay, well, it's cool, but does it work? So how do you know, here's a DJ, Robin Schulz, and one of the things is his promoters are trying to say, well, how do I get people to interact with and like my music, and then as an influencer recommend that other people listen to it. So what his promotion company did was created these branded VR goggles, and apparently this guy, I don't know this EDM stuff, but he wears these trademark sunglasses. And so what happened was you could download this custom app and you would actually be inside his music video, and the net outcome was 12 times more effective than when they were promoting his songs before they did this marketing campaign. So pretty cool. And you know, again, sort of going back to Sherpa's DNA, we're all about measurables, so that's something that really excites me. So even our clients are doing it. So going back to that ag nerd, I take exception to Stu being the biggest ag nerd at Sherpa. So we were at the Canada's Outdoor Farm Show, and this is the Roundup Ready Extend, and this is a VR experience where you can put the goggle on, listen to the narrator, and I actually, for the first time, finally understood the Roundup Ready Extend system after watching that, which those who used to work at Monsanto or did or do now would know that it's extremely confusing. So it was actually a really immersive and good way to learn. So that's the cool stuff, but is it worth it? So I would argue that it's not a novelty, so we're kind of moving out of that bleeding edge into that leading edge. You really want to ask yourself some questions, though. So, is it going to give them an experience that they otherwise wouldn't have? So is it something they couldn't afford or they just couldn't physically get to? Is it, can you transport me there? Is it not convenient for me to get to that trade show, but I want to experience those experts that are at the trade show? There's a way to kind of bring them there. You can also immerse me in that world, which is really cool. And you can, of course, compel them to explore, which is obviously, if you think of the first talk, what Michael was talking about, which is those moments where you're starting to define or indicate your purchase intent. The more time that somebody spends in that virtual world interacting, the more likely they are to become a customer and eventually, hopefully, an advocate. So, ask yourself, could virtual reality ads give a better feel for your product? Like, is there value in being able to take them to your, we all know that bricks and mortar stores are sort of, might be a dinosaur, thanks to sort of, Amazon, well, just Amazon, never mind anyone else. So if you're trying to move product and you're having a hard time competing with Amazon, maybe you could at least still transport someone virtually to your store. So I did a little bit of digging, and it was shopping is sort of the top. That is the thing that people are most interested in for a VR experience. So I suspect it's probably the luxury brands. So you maybe can't get to New York to go to Louis Vuitton, so you want to just virtually go to the Louis Vuitton store in New York. So sticking with the is it worth it? So you want to ask yourself, is where you are going to be rich with things to see? So again, spending so much time standing in fields of corn and soybeans and canola, is there something interesting for people to see, or is there a person that's interesting or worth seeing? And think about this in the context of your own sales organizations. You're going to have people who are superstars that if you only had more of those people. So now you can, we always talk about Value Partners Investments. One of our clients, we always said we need to create virtual Steve and virtual Greg. Well, now we can create virtual Steve and virtual Greg. Will it be captivating? Will they want to keep going beyond that sort of, that's cool? And it doesn't, I'm old enough to remember Second Life, so this is not the first go around with VR. So, is this going to be bigger and better, and is it going to last? Talk about transporting people. It's not always convenient to get somewhere. This is, and unfortunately my presentation with the goggles isn't going to work, but we were going to do a Google expedition, and I was going to take you to Everest with your goggles on. And so, I'd like to go to Everest, and I don't want to climb it, but I could just be nice to go there and someone else do all the hard work. So, but think about it this way, you're using, whether it's AR or VR now, you can have that technology, and say now that I'm walking in Polo Park and I've got my VR up, and now I see sort of something flashing from a store that I normally wouldn't go in. It kind of grabs my attention in my peripheral vision and kind of pulls and reels me in, and I actually look at it, interact with it, and now you've got me in a store that you wouldn't have otherwise got me into. This will be a greater challenge, but I think that there's going to be a time, not in the very distant future, where it's going to be a storytelling medium, where you're going to immerse yourself in a movie or something like that. So imagine, oh, what's the zombie show? Walking Dead. Like, imagine being able to be in the show. That's coming. So this is sort of what tipped me over. We have lots of heated discussions at Sherpa. I think Snapchat's stupid, but I sort of, this was my tipping point, was Mike B's presentation, and it was like I had my aha moment doing my own research, and I realized that Snapchat, of course, was augmented reality, and then I stumbled across this really cool picture of Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, and thinking, well, people are like going to the trouble to kind of doll their hair up a little bit so that they look like Harley when they put the AR filter on themselves, and then that's going to all their networks, and what a cool viral way to create interest in someone going to a movie. And that was sort of my tipping point. It was like, oh, okay, I get it. Old guy gets it. So we talked a little bit about the virtual tours of the bricks and mortar shop. So now you're decreasing time and space, and of course virtualizing your best people. The extending the live experience, which might be covered, and that was one of the big benefits of Snapchat, so I won't go any further into that. But think about this, and Ikea, again, is doing this today. You can pick up your iPad, download their app, and you can put like that Billy armoire in that empty space in your room and see what the birch colored one and the mahogany colored one is going to look like in your environment, and you know, sort of create that confidence in the purchase that you might not have otherwise. And so again, this is here and today, and it's available and it's working. So, and then there's the whole fun side, of course. So, you know, as a social media tool, so you've got, I think that's Power Rangers, and that's Despicable Me Minions, and then I think that's Guardians of the Galaxy, right? There's that group right there? Yeah, so, you know, this, again, the media companies, entertainment, gaming, they tend to be somewhere first. It's up to us as marketers to try and think of how can we adapt that, how can we kind of make that work for our businesses. So, and it's, I mean, it's really kind of wild. So here you have like a game. So, and this is from 2008. You could, this Obama campaign paid to be in a burnout game so that as you're driving by, the billboards had vote Obama in the game. So where is that going now? Well, HTC, which is a smartphone company and has the HTC Vive headset, is developed an ad sales platform where marketers like me can bid to place ads in the driving game on the billboards. So this is like this is where it's going, and it's here. So pretty cool. So potential benefits. So Connor will remember this place. So we were in Kauai, and there's the Nukamoy Surf Shop, which is a little bit set back from the beach. And so, yeah, it's cool, and I want to go in and look at the cool t-shirts, but if I could pull up an augmented reality app, I might actually be able to have something pull up that has a video that shows that they actually have people who can teach you how to surf and where to go on the beach to go and do that, because they're not on the beach. So there's, even for small businesses, there's an opportunity here. And I think this is my second last slide. So the other thing is, you know, there's a stewardship aspect to it. So you've got Tom's, the, you know, you buy a shoe, we give a shoe people. So what they did is they wanted to actually prove that, hey, like we really actually do go out and give people shoes when we sell a pair. So they actually created a 360 experience where you could ride along with a group that was in Peru, giving shoes to people. And I'm not going to play it, but I would encourage you, because now you all have your own VR goggles, that you could go and look this up on YouTube. And there's more and more of that immersive 360 content coming online all the time.